We'd like to thank our sponsors, Ocean Stone Architectural Lighting. Fully customizable track lighting systems for your home, all controlled by an app on your phone. From individual lights to full color spectrum of lights, it's easy to use. You can set timers for special events or seasonal lighting, and what I find really cool are the preset patterns and animation. To get a free quote for your home, go to oceanstonelighting.com.
Welcome to the Quick Tap Rugby Outlier podcast.
I'm Nate Augspurger.
I'm CJ.
I'm Chef Rock.
The podcast that brings you an elite perspective into MLR rugby.
And welcome to another episode of Quick Tap Rugby Outlier podcast. I'm your host, CJ. As usual, I'm be joined by my co-hosts and one of, if not the best scrum half in the MLR. He's also a U.S. Eagles in 7s and 15s. He's a San Diego Legionnaire. My man, Nate Augspurger.
Yo, yo, yo.
Hey.
What's up?
CJ, my man.
What's going on, man? How you doing, brother?
I'm good. CJ knows I had to call him earlier today. I've been missing him. I just had to hear his voice.
That's true. He did call me, man. I felt a little touched. And joining us
was in the air.
and joining us for another episode is our co-host, celebrity chef, and the host of the Chef Rock Show, streaming on every possible streaming outlet platform possible.
He's
Chef
everywhere.
Rock, what's happening, brother? What's happening?
How you guys doing? What's up,
going
Nate?
on, man?
Good,
What's up,
Chef.
CJ?
How you doing, brother?
It's all good. It's all good.
Listen, man, I was today. I felt a little bit normal because baseball was playing today.
Yeah.
But then I realized when Dr. Fauci was going to be the one throwing out the first pitch, I realized we're in a pandemic. This is
when you got the leading doctor throwing out
never
the
had
first pitch.
before. Ever had before a doctor is throwing out the first pitch. You know, typically it's a president or someone or some celebrity.
Right.
But Dr. Fauci is so popular and so famous because of the pandemic. He threw out the first pitch today and with the Yankees and I guess the Washington
Nationals.
Nationals, yeah, that's right. And so throwing out. Then I watched some highlights of the NBA. It kind of reminds me of you ever watched the Big Three, which Ice Cube, you know, the basketball tournament that has $1 million pot.
3-on-3.
Yeah.
The $1 million pot.
I was watching the TBT tournament.
Yes.
The $1 million tournament. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that's what the NBA looks like. It looks just like that, and it's not something that I'm used to. But I feel a little getting back to normal, and so it feels good. It feels good. So.
Yeah.
So did you see the pitch? Did Fauci get it over the plate? I heard he hit the corner, and they called it a strike.
No, I hope he did, but if he didn't, I'm sure the president would tweet out, "Hey, Fats, I should have been the one throwing out the first pitch."
That's why I'm getting rid of the guy. You can't throw a strike.
Yeah.
He'll come up with something, man.
Yeah.
Listen, we have an incredible show today. We typically have on a celebrity rugby player or a guest. Today we have a celebrity journalist, an entertainer, a host.
Yes.
And so we're gonna let Nate introduce her, and she actually interviewed Nate several times. So go ahead, my man, take it away.
Yeah. You know, she's pretty special. She's been in the game as far as what she's good at. She's been professional since she was 19, and she's worked for ESPN. She's on CBS Sports now, and that's my connection to her. I get to see her before kickoffs during the MLR season, and she's been on NBA with TNT, NCAA championship games, and she's just like bubbly, heart and soul, out of the roof, and she's got a mean shoe game as well. So, you know, Stacy Paetz, TV host, reporter, content creator, and producer. This is her.
Hi.
Hey, welcome, Stacy. Welcome.
Hello.
What's up, Stacy?
Hello, my friends. Thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate it.
It's great to have you. You know,
Thank you.
We need more people like you. Yeah, it's good to see you too. It's good to see you too. I was going to tell a story to start us off, Stacy. You know, it was in the beginning of 2019 season, and it might have been the first. It was either the first or the second game that you were working the game at Torero, where we play the Legion games. And I had just kind of started doing some writing and some articles for the Increase. And I first started talking about my faith through that as a voice. And I was like, you get a little insecure about, oh man, I don't know what people think and whatnot. And you came up to me before one of the games, and I just knew we were going to be cool from then on, because you were just like, hey, I appreciate what you're about and what you stand for, and appreciate your faith as a brother. And I was just like, when I show up at MLR games before kickoffs and I get to see you, give you a little fist bump, little conversation before warm-ups even start, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to kick some butt now.
You're good.
Nice.
So you're a special person, a special soul, Stacy. We're glad to have you on.
Now you better deliver on a great interview, because that was a really good intro.
It was excellent.
I might have to take a little time out because I got a little misty over here. Thank you.
A little verklempt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Seriously,
Verklempt.
Nate, that blesses me more than you could ever know, Nate. And you don't have to be around me long to know what I say is from the heart. And if I say it, I mean it. So for you also to say that to me just really gives me a lot of strength on the inside, and thank you, because I feel that so much about you. And I've always had an affinity for Torero. I've always had an affinity for the Legion, because my first ever rugby game in my life was on your home field in April of 2018. And so my affinity will always be with you guys, and I love looking at how many believers are on your team. And I know the toughest part in a post-game interview is having to hold you guys back from getting together in the middle and praying together. So that's tough for me to keep you guys from doing that. But again, all that to say, thank you. I received those words. Thank you.
Well, I'm happy to share, Stacy. I'm happy to share, and I'm glad that I'm glad that the memory of handing over the trophy to Seattle the previous year is your favorite memory of being at Torero Stadium, Tough one to swallow.
That was tough. That was so tough. I even had the shield in my hand ready to give it to Joe Peterson. Like I was that ready, because things turned so quickly. And I just have to say, for anyone that didn't see that game, especially if you weren't there at Torero, something that about rugby I will never, ever keep from mentioning to people, whether you have been around the game for years or whether you're brand new to it, the culture among these gentlemen, and I use the word gentlemen intentionally, the entire Legion team, CJ and Chef, the entire team, after they just got shocked, literally, the shield was theirs. They got shocked in the closing seconds. Right. They all stayed on the field. They all stayed on the field to celebrate their brothers on the opposing team. And if that doesn't say what sport is supposed to be about, I don't know what else could.
No, that's definitely good, man. That's we had a gentleman on last week. Kenny.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Ken.
Yeah, Kenny.
Nasa KK?
Big Kenny.
And on our last episode, and Kenny was telling us about being humble. It's about being humble, and it's about respecting other people and having respect for the game, and how much he appreciates stuff. So I can see that. Yeah. I can see that that's how that went down. Absolutely.
Yeah. We got a lot of fans that deserve the opportunity to they come out to a lot of the home games, and they enjoy coming to the games, not only for the rugby, but afterwards, the fans come down onto the field, autographs, photos, conversations, and we owe them that, even if we got to keep our heads high, even if we take the loss, and hopefully you'll be handing us the trophy down the road.
Yes, that's my plan.
That's the goal.
That would be great.
It's a pretty special thing. We got a pretty special crew here in San Diego, and that includes the stadium and the fans as well. So I appreciate you saying that. That's nice.
For sure. And I love that you mentioned too how you all come down after the game and spend time with the fans, and that's something that should never be minimized either, because that just doesn't happen in a lot of pro leagues. I know the WNBA teams do it as best they can, but there's nothing like the MLR in terms of being up close and personal, and the way you guys show up even after losses, which to me is the biggest adversity, reveals a man to himself, right? So even in the midst of a loss, when you guys are out there loving on those kids, they learn from that. Whether you know that or not, these kids are like, wow, they just got beat, but look at them. They're still out here paying us attention,
Right.
giving us
Head
time.
held high.
Yeah,
the whole thing.
yeah. Kids really learn from that. So even when you don't know who's watching, people are watching, and they're really taking some positive things from you and your teammates.
Yeah,
CJ, you remember the first time we went down there after the game? We were like all impressed. Wow, we can meet all the guys.
I know,
I
right?
shake hands, talk to them. That doesn't happen in
I was
other
impressed
sports.
how big they were.
Right?
I was impressed how big they
There's
were.
definitely a lot of ice packs out.
yeah. Chef's still the
That's a
first
tough
fan
sport.
ever, though, to take out a Ziploc baggie and give me some food. Like I swear, what'd you have?
Sliced. It was salami.
Yeah,
Some
sliced
pesto
salami.
Okay.
Like, hey,
well,
good game, Nate. Here's some salami. I was like, Chef, what are you doing?
It's
And
an
I
extra
ate it.
tradition in this family. He's a chef.
That's right. I always have sliced meat in my pocket. You never know
okay.
when a guy's going to need a little sustenance.
I'll
That's
make
all.
Right.
Make sure not to be around any pit bulls whenever you've got that.
No, they're always. That's why when you see those dogs sniffing my pocket, that's the only reason why. That's all.
Man's best friend for Chef.
Yes, exactly. Well,
That's for sure.
Chef better have food on him. I don't know what else
He
that would
better.
be. He better have
Come
food on.
on.
So Stacy,
Hey, then I picked you up and I said, I'd like to accept this award.
Stacy,
On behalf of the MLR.
what's it like being the kind of sort of the face on the sidelines of the MLR and rugby itself? You know,
Man, to say it's a blessing is an understatement. You know, it's another shout out to the men of the MLR, and this goes from the top to the players and when I say top, I mean MLR headquarters in Utah, everyone there. Yep. The league office, everyone down, coaches, players, trainers, just knowing that I have been accepted and welcomed, you know, because I knew nothing about rugby in 2018 when I did my first game. I had YouTube fired up in my car driving down to San Diego, listening just so I could get the lingo right. And I would try to make it make sense. Like, okay, a try is a touchdown in football.
Right.
Or, you know, I was just trying to make it all make
That's
sense.
right. Yep.
And it didn't take me long to fall head over heels in love with this sport. But to be the face of this franchise and knowing that it's only going to grow and be better, and it's my dream to travel internationally also with rugby. I just love it so much, and it gives me so much joy knowing the culture, knowing the way the players are, knowing how the league itself is set up and run. It is truly a blessing and sheer joy to be part of this organization in any capacity.
That says a lot coming from you. We've been around, you know, the NBA, WNBA, college sports, college football. To say something like that about this league, that means something. The league should listen. League should be listening to this because for sure that means something. You know, I know when we first went to Chef Rock and I we got some passes from Nikki and the Nikki Pena. She works for the Legion.
Yep.
And so we had a little booth. We had a little press box. You know, we're up.
Spoiled. She spoiled you.
Yeah, we're feeling real special. We're feeling real special up there. And we're looking at the game, and I'm looking at Chef Rock. She looking at me. What's that? What are you doing? What are you doing? We didn't know nothing. All I know is that someone was getting the ball, and they were running that way, and the other team was running this way. We quickly
and then I ran down there and gave them meat. I mean, we're all good.
Yes.
It was definitely a quick. We had to learn quickly. And lucky for us because because Nate was on our radio show. You know, we were friends with him, so we got to talk to him more about the show. About the game and stuff. He started teaching us stuff, and we still mess up all the time.
They're my proteges.
Yeah, you probably can watch this podcast.
We were.
You can probably listen to this podcast, and we'll say something stupid every once in a while because we don't know what we're talking about.
Nate's got his work cut out for him. It's all good. Nate's got his work cut out.
That's the thing.
That's okay. Yeah, and that's what. Listen, as long as you lead with honesty, it doesn't matter. You don't need to be an expert at it. That's what you got Nate for.
No, but I mean, the game's so exciting to watch. I remember when me and CJ were there, we were like, well, why did he do that? Why did they stop? Why are they holding that guy up?
Yeah, why are they lifting him so high?
That's crazy.
And that was the first confusing part for me is lifting a man up in the air.
Right.
Right.
Oh my gosh. I actually had a chance to do
awesome.
I had a chance to do that. Nate, I don't know if you ever saw this video. In 2018, we did a bunch of little videos with the USA Women Eagles. So I know you had Ryan Mattias on your show.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So you had Ryan Mattias on your show, and his wife, Jordan, represents our country. And she was part of these little vignettes that we did. And I learned how to tackle properly. I was lifted. I was lifted in one of those lineouts. Oh, my gosh. And Jordan was one of the ones that lifted me, Ryan's wife, and I did not expect to go that high. I mean, listen, I eat a lot of cupcakes, so I did not expect them to get me. Remember that, Chef, when we meet face to face. Have a bag.
I will remember that,
okay.
Stacy.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
You got a friend for life in Chef Rock now.
Yes.
You're talking about food.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now I got to have food in all my pockets now.
Listen, I love
Hey,
food.
Stacy.
Yeah.
Speaking of food,
Yep.
I know you're half Polynesian, half Native American, Cherokee.
Yep. Cherokee.
How do they combine the foods? I mean, in your household, what was the eating like? I always think different cultures,
Yeah.
how that works.
It was always very interesting. I was a super finicky eater when I was young. Super finicky, like only ketchup on hamburgers type thing. Like I was that kid.
Ketchup guy.
You were
Yes.
Ketchup guy.
I was that kid. I also, the Native American side of my family, a lot of like my grandmother's and my great grandmother's side of the family grew up in Kentucky. So I also have a lot of comfort food in my background.
That's Southern hospitality.
Yes. So homegrown, homemade, like we had everything. Oh my gosh. My favorite meal that my grandmother used to make. This is my favorite meal. And I'm probably going to have to see Chef actually make a note of this because you can cook for us one night. I had my favorite meal, cornbread, homemade, homemade chicken and dumplings. And I love greens. Like those were my favorite. Yes. That was collard
greens. I eat mustard greens. I love.
So good.
I just actually bought a bunch today. I just got like dandelion leaves, and all this fun stuff.
I love it.
Oh yeah.
I love it. Yeah. So
we'll throw it down.
Please do. And we would have some kind of, like, whenever the two sides would get together, we would have this cross-pollination of, I don't know what that is, and I don't think it goes with that, but it looks good, and there's ketchup, so I'm good to go.
Right. So you were good with it.
Yeah. Right. I was good with it. But yeah, other than that, now I love food. I would consider myself a foodie. I don't go super crazy. Like, I love eel sauce, but I don't eat eel. So, we'll try some things, though.
We'll talk. We'll exchange recipes.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to with that because Chef Rock cooks some stuff. Part of our radio show, he would actually cook up dishes, and on the radio show.
I was on one of those shows. He was cooking the whole time.
Nice.
The show that I was on with you guys.
Really cooking
studio.
On the radio.
Hey, that's why that show didn't do very well.
All we want to do is eat.
That's why we doing this. Get back to your story. So you actually learned how to actually physically play rugby.
Yes, I did. With Ryan's wife, Jordan, she taught me how to tackle. And it's, if you guys haven't learned, it's cheek to cheek. It's very simple. So cheek to cheek, butt cheek. But Jordan, I mean, she was very gracious. It looked like I tackled her pretty hard down to the ground, but she was very gracious and gave it a little fall. But I loved learning that. And my favorite thing was the line out. Yeah, when they lifted me in the line out, though, I did not expect to go that high, y'all. Like, I got up there, and I'm not afraid of heights. I fly airplanes. I jump out of airplanes.
Oh, wow.
But I got up there, and I'm like, high-fiving Jesus. I'm like, put me down.
You also got to keep your body stiff as well.
Yes.
You can't be, like, flimsy.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you're actually, you might get dropped.
Over, right?
Exactly.
You got to keep your core tight, keep your legs stiff, and jump to get up there, too.
I was stiff as a board because I was like, oh, my God. I was afraid.
For me,
awesome.
That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in rugby. When I first started watching rugby, and when I was
we were like, what?
You know what I mean?
Hey, Chris, I guess, CJ, we never have to worry about that. I don't think any of those guys are going to be lifting our big old booties up there.
Listen, bro. That's the second time you insulted me on this episode, man. Listen, homie, we got to talk, bro.
Oh.
We'll have to, we still got to get you guys in the front row of a scrum. That's the goal.
That would be awesome.
So now, so you play volleyball, you play basketball, you golf, you play softball,
planes.
What do you don't do?
What don't I do? I'm not a great fisher person. I'm not a fisherman because the worm on the hook thing kind of trips me up.
Oh, that's the only reason, right?
Yeah, I think that's the only reason.
Someone baited your hook, you'd be all right.
Oh, sure I would.
Yeah.
Sure I would.
You can do a fly.
I'll cast it. I'll cast it further than any of y'all.
Oh, I believe that.
But you got to put the worm on there for me, though.
So now I hear some challenging coming from you now.
Yeah,
I know.
Challenge. You know what I'm
The
saying?
competition.
coming out.
But I don't fish. You probably win that when I don't fish either. So
Yeah. To win the bass tournament.
you can't get me to the lake with fishing.
That's actually one thing Paul George with the Clippers he's able to do, which he's really happy to do. I worked with him in Indiana, but he's been able to fish a lot in the bubble there in Orlando, so he's been real happy for that. Yeah, that's a good
hobby to do.
Yeah,
I love fishing.
Good hobby
I'm a
to have.
fisherman.
Yeah, he's good.
I'd rather golf, but fishing is fun.
Me too. We all got to go sometime.
Let's do it.
So that would be fun, even if we're just fly fishing or we're just casting a lure.
You could even social distance.
I'm going to let you guys do that yourselves.
Come on.
Because you get me on the lake. Listen,
Come on.
I'm not a very good swimmer.
Me either.
First
Me
of
either.
all,
We won't go.
Stand on the
So
shore.
See, Chef Rock be playing around and mess up and tip the boat. And if I go down, I sink. I'm gonna tell you, I was in Cancun once with my wife, and my wife. We went on these boats. We rented these boats and went out. And this is a true story. We went all the way out, and it looked like it was shallow water to me. You know what I'm saying? So we went out, and they pulled the boats together. And so my wife, we had these little things you put in your mouth, whatever.
Snorkels.
And so we jumped in the water. My wife jumped in. So I said, I'll jump in. I jump in. I fell all the way to the bottom. And it looked like the bottom was 5 miles away.
Oh,
And I kept falling. And I sucked in water through my little thing in my mouth, man.
That's scary.
I'm done with lakes.
That's scary.
Water is scary.
Yeah.
That's kind of been my new thing, guys. I must admit, I've been swimming in the ocean, but I'm too, for fitness. I want to stay fit, stay cardio, whatever. But I'm too scared to go out where the waves don't break, and my wife won't allow it either because of sharks and other fish. And I've never been really comfortable being in the water with big animals bigger than me and animals that can bite my leg off clean or whatever. So I swim where kind of the waves break, and it kind of adds this like militant style of swimming. I go like 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, and I just get peppered. It's chaotic.
Yeah,
it actually takes a lot out of you. It's a good exercise program.
Yeah. Well, and I'm the only one there. I'm in my swim trunks, and everybody else is in their wetsuits. Yeah.
Listen, I'm with your beautiful bride, Nate. You don't know what is under the water. Not just animals that can nibble on you for a snack like salami, but the current. You have to be cautious of the current.
Gotta be careful of risk.
I don't back my swimming to be able to tread water and be out there for 20 minutes straight. Nah.
Yeah,
I gotta be able to.
Yeah, don't play
touch
no
the ground.
Listen to your bride. She knows
That's
all.
right. I got a story. First time I went water skiing was in Long Island Sound. My friend his parents had a big boat. So they're dragging me along. I'm learning. I get up. We're cruising along. And then I fall in. And all of a sudden, the water's splashing all around me. And they're kind of like, they have to go turn around and come back to get me. And I'm panicking. I think I'm like in the middle of a shark tank. And they're going crazy. And I can feel them bumping into me. And I can see them on the boat just laughing. And I'm screaming, get me out, they're sharks. No, they're just they're bluefish tuna. And I was in the middle of their feeding. And they were like coming out of the water near me. It was hilarious. They thought it was funny. In fact, I just spoke about it the other day. And so that was like my first experience out away from the shore. I said, get me the hell out of this boat.
I'm glad you lived to tell about it.
That would have been freaky.
With a nickname like Rock, I sink like Chris. Never a big, strong swimmer.
So Stacy, there's been a ton of stuff going on with the MLR, even in the off season. Recently, there's been a lot of re-signings and some new big names. I know Rooney's signed a couple foreigners and have gotten Nate Brakeley and Dylan Fawcett back on their squad. I know the Arrows, Toronto. It seems like a lot of teams are really gearing up. We obviously at Legion got Chris Robshaw. Mm-hmm. Have you been following much of the off-season headlines and things going on? Because I think really it's going to give you, seeing some of the guys that are returning to the league, I think it's going to give you a ton to talk about as the season comes back around with some of the guys who are coming back to the league and starting to really form up some rivalries.
Yeah, I've definitely been keeping my eye on all of that, and it's so exciting. And also the young talent that's coming through the draft was exciting as well to see. And I just love how much it's growing. And I love that the international players are recognizing the MLR is the real deal, right? And the MLR has a lot of great competition and a lot of great athletes. So knowing how much it's growing, knowing the guys that are re-signing, coming back to their teams, even changing teams because they recognize where the Shield might be going to live next year. I think that that's exciting and interesting too. And there's a few faces that I haven't heard yet if they're coming back, and I'm certainly hopeful that they are because they only had just a few games, a few weeks to kind of check us out. So I'm hoping that they'll come back as well and give it another chance. Because this was certainly everything was out of our control, right? So 2020 was, man, what kind of Carol Baskin killed her husband kind of summer has this been? I mean,
Carol Baskin.
It's been nutty, but I think, anything that we can go through will make us stronger if we approach it the right way. And hopefully what I love too is, this has given you all extra time with your families that you would not have had.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
I don't know about all that.
Come on, CJ. Are you sure your wife didn't push you off the boat with that kind of?
That's right.
Hey, you know what? Hey, she didn't come to my rescue either. She just laughed about it. You know what I'm saying?
She's like,
put
bye,
this lead
baby.
belt on you, Chris.
Bye, baby. Oh,
yeah, she didn't even tell me how to put the little thing on my mouth for nothing. She just said, "Go ahead, jump in."
Go.
So you figure it out.
Right off.
That's usually how we start rookie rugby players. We just throw them in there and let them just kind of fend for themselves and figure it out.
Play.
Figure it out. Yep. Figure it out.
Yeah,
that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, it is.
So Stacy, let me ask you a question.
Please.
Listen, so you've done everything. I mean, NBA, WNBA. Would you now that the league's coming back up in this bubble? What do you feel about that playing right now in the midst of this pandemic? I know rugby has an opportunity to wait a little bit. The season doesn't start until January or something like that.
February, yeah.
February, something like that. So they get a chance to be vaccinated. So what do you think about playing in this bubble, this competition thing?
Yeah.
This bubble? And did you want to go in the bubble and be a sideline reporter? Did you have an opportunity? So those are a couple questions. I'm sorry. I'll go back to the first one.
A and B.
I'm tracking. Don't worry. I'm with you. Well, first things first, tonight was the first baseball game. The Yankees are playing the Nationals. Last time I checked, it was bottom of the fifth, and the Yankees had a 4-1 lead.
Yes.
It's good to see that.
Yeah.
And I think baseball could have been playing this whole time. Right. I mean, let's talk about that. Right. They could have been. I mean, the social distancing and all of that, they could have been. Of all sports, they could have been. I did have an opportunity to go to the WNBA bubble. That was a unique opportunity, though. One of my best girlfriends, I call her my sister. She is an assistant coach for the Indiana Fever. Okay. I host a podcast for the LA Sparks, which I love, and that will not change. We'll continue to do that podcast, of course, as long as they'll have us. Right. But I had an opportunity to go to the bubble and be to help her with her daughters, who are my little nieces. They're 6 and 4. Because, with 2-a-days and with games and all that stuff, it's just a really unique situation. And then I could have parlayed that into doing my podcast, for the Sparks. I chose not to do that for a couple of reasons, because if I went there, obviously my focus would have been on her and my nieces. So what if and when the Fever play the Sparks, how do I do the podcast in that case? And that could have turned into some TV work to maybe do some sideline reporting. There were just so many things up in the air. I didn't want to get all the way there and find out that I would have not been able to do as much with the Sparks as I had hoped. From all the things that I've heard from both the NBA, I spoke to a couple NBA coaches and players in the last week or so, and everybody in the WNBA and Bradenton at IMG Academy and everybody in the NBA who are in Orlando, they feel safe, they feel protected, they recognize that, wear the masks at all times unless you're on the floor.
Right.
They recognize this is a unique situation, and the league has done a tremendous job of figuring it all out. They get tested every single day. As I mentioned, some of the NBA players have an opportunity to do some things out still within the bubble, but they get to fish. I know in the WNBA bubble, they get to go on bike rides and to the pool. So there are things in place to keep them at least feeling a bit connected to the outside world without being able to leave the bubble. What I think is really important, there are fines from the league if you aren't wearing your mask. There are fines if you step over the proposed lines that are within the bubble. And I think that those are important statements to be made and important fines to be handed down, because listen, if this happens to have one person infected, the whole bubble could burst. No pun intended. That's a literal statement. So it's important that everyone do their right thing and make the right choices. I think it's important for a lot of reasons that sports has come back.
It's very important, I think, too.
Yeah.
So you said the baseball should have been playing. If rugby would have been was a sport in this time frame, would you think rugby could play? Because it just seems like there's too much physical contact.
They can't. Yeah, unfortunately, no. There's no social distancing in rugby, not for one solitary second. But baseball is very different, right? I mean, everything about it looks different. And my hope was to see baseball start much sooner. I'm really happy that they have now, but I would have loved to have seen baseball start much sooner. And I love the idea of having fans pay money to have their cutouts in the stands. I love that idea.
Interesting. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. It's funny because I told my brother that like 2 or 3 months ago. I think that every league, when they start, should do that, because then and take that money and give it to all the in-arena workers that lost their jobs, right? Because
it's a great idea.
Yeah, and I said that to my brother months ago, so I'm thankful that someone had that idea, and I certainly hope that the money goes to the people that lost their opportunities, because they work hard and they love the sport as much as the announcers in the booth.
Yeah,
so
it's part of their lives.
Exciting.
Yeah, it's part of their lives. Yeah,
I tweeted about that. Even FS1 was playing one of the MLS games, and they had crowd noise, but it was played over. But I tweeted about it. I was like, man,
brilliant.
You know what? I didn't even realize until after 5 to 10 minutes of the game that it was fake.
Yeah,
I was just like loving it. I was just like, oh, the crowd's coming in. And I was like, wait.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I said that to my brother too. Just pumping the crowd noise, make them feel.
They did a great job.
Yeah, because you know better than anybody, Nate, on this panel. Like having the crowd behind you and having that sound and that energy, it just does something to you.
Yeah, hey, I played Pee-wee football, so I understand what crowd noise is.
Pop Warner.
I understand the crowd noise.
And to that point, though, I mean, if they're not pumping it at the stadium, rugby, the amount of communication that's needed for us to operate at a high level, it's like playing at a scrimmage game we played last year down at Little Q, which is next to Qualcomm Stadium. And, you play in a game there, but like if you're on the sideline, you can literally hear all the communication that we have amongst the team. I'll be screeching, obviously, as a 9, but like little communication. And then when you play on bigger stages, go on the 7 circuit, you realize that communication is completely broke down in play because of the amount of crowd noise. And so it is an extra element to the game when I can send my messages loud and clear, and when it's like the messages just aren't going to get through. You're in a different flow state as a player when you're playing rugby, especially in 15s, because there's so much preset piece communication and calls for the lineouts, calls for the overall pattern and where we're going to attack and stuff like that. So it is kind of an interesting thing to think about when I go, oh man, rugby without, any noise at all. It's kind of nice. It's like working, it's like working in like a warehouse. You can kind of just communicate and talk and whatever it takes, like a field house or whatever. But when you're out there, when there's a lot of fans and we're at Torero and it is freaking 6,000 people there, you're like, okay, I can't just get a simple message across.
Yeah. There's nobody to hear you.
Right.
You got to take your cohesion goes up another level For sure.
Exactly. I remember interviewing tons of quarterbacks about that exact thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Kansas City.
Yeah.
Can't even hear it on the end.
And they got radios in their ear.
Yeah.
They got radios right there. They still can't hear.
And they still can't hear. Stacey, I got a question for you. You mentioned, baseball being a little more safer than other sports. I mean, one of the Nationals got diagnosed today.
Yeah.
I know they go out and they're socializing with, family and things of that nature. Yeah. Well, I'm always wondering how that plate at home, that play at home plate's going to happen. Is the guy going to flip his mask, to expose his face if a guy's running in for a slide into home?
Well, I mean, he's not going to be playing for a minute, until he comes back with a negative test. He's not going to be playing for a minute, so they don't have to worry about that. Instinct.
2 negative tests, yeah.
Right, and instinct is yes, that helmet's coming off no matter what, because even
no matter what, he's flipping it.
Oh yeah, I mean that's just instinctual. That's something that doesn't go away.
And they get a tumble at the home plate.
Yeah.
My second half of the question is, football is coming up too, and I know they're not playing any preseasons, and they have some new masks that are full shield. And for the most part, unlike rugby, I mean, these guys have equipment and pads on. The only thing exposed really are their hands. Yeah. In some cases, not even that. I mean, they're pretty much like wearing a wetsuit. So I think football has probably a better chance of playing than some of the other sports.
The contact sports,
yeah. I would agree with that, except for this is the one caveat. How many times you see this before
yeah.
Right? I mean, that's one. Again, that's going to be a habit that will die hard. So that's something.
I'm not catching the ball. I'm not catching it.
Yeah,
I've even seen Phillip Rivers do that with gloves on.
Right.
He lick his fingers with gloves on.
It's just a habit. It's just one of those.
To get that grip.
Yeah, it's one of those habitual things. But yeah, I mean, again, they have to, in the WNBA and in the NBA, they get tested every single day, which again is every single day, but it's necessary. You can't do every 2 or 3 days because then you're 2 or 3 days behind and then you don't know where anything happened and came from and where to stop it and who to move on. And so, yeah, it's a crazy situation.
So you got a massive shoe game, my friend. So
we have shoes?
So doing the research for you, reading about you, I saw you had over 400 pairs of shoes. I went to my closet. I had like 4 dirty old beat up shoes that I wear only because they're beat up. Then I got 4 brand new pairs of shoes. So I thought last week that I was doing good. I thought I was fine. You know what I'm saying? And now I read yours, 400.
Yeah.
I'm nowhere in the game.
Oh boy, and that number might be a little low, actually.
That doesn't count the ones way in the back.
And I have just as many like girly high heels as I do sneakers, and that was one of the big jokes in the NBA. Like a lot of the players used to always look at my feet when I would come out, especially for shoot around, especially because shoot around was in the morning before the show. I've got no makeup on, hair on top of my head, wearing sneakers, and they would always peep my sneakers. And then when we would go to games, and I would travel with the Pacers, so I would be on the team plane, and after a game I might show up on the plane with my suit on that I had during the game, but I'm wearing Jordan 1s with my fancy suit, so they would always peep those out. And I have tiny feet too, which I'm grateful because I save a lot of money when it comes to buying little boy shoes.
Okay.
But yes, I love shoes to my soul.
Same with you, Chris.
Did you see what I did there? Did you hear what I did there?
Yeah.
Anybody? Did you miss that? I love shoes to my soul.
No, I got you.
I got it.
Thank you.
Connection. That's all right. I was trying to.
Next time.
I heard it, but I also heard an insult come from Chef Rock.
I heard both.
I didn't realize.
I heard both.
I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him, though. Don't worry about it.
Chef, did you get on CJ again? That's 3.
He did.
Oh, you said you got little feet, and I said, hey, so do you, Chris.
So, hey, I'm gonna tell you right now. I would show you my shoe right now, but
I know.
I'm wearing my house shoes. Hey, look, homie, ain't nothing small about me, brother.
It's all about
anyway, listen.
Hey, you should have sent that. You could have sent that joke my way, Chef.
There you go.
I ain't got the big feet, Gene.
You got what size?
I'm 8.5, 9.
So
8.5 if I got a sneaker, like if I'm rocking sneakers, like my wife's a sneakerhead. She's got the new J's as well, and if I'm rocking a tight pair of sneakers, then I'll wear 8.5. But if I'm out training and stuff, I usually wear like a 9.
Yeah.
Nate, let me give you a little heads up, my brother. when you get older, your feet get bigger. I don't know why. I used to wear a 9 my whole life. I'm up to an 11 now.
No.
I swear. I swear.
It's all the salami. It's all
The salami is just patting your feet.
I actually do. I put salami inside my shoe, so
Just
I feel
like
funny.
Just like his head.
All right,
Just like his head, he's got a fat foot.
Can we? Oh my goodness, you're getting them in there, getting them in there best you can, getting
You know
them
what
in.
I'm saying?
All right, can we please bring it back to the shoe game? Because
All right, so what's your
Shoe
favorite
game.
shoe?
I've
What's
been
your
waiting for
favorite
this.
pair of shoes?
I've been waiting for. That's a hard question. I don't think I can answer that question.
Okay.
But I make shoe contact before I make eye contact, right? So there's only
Look at the size of those feet. Whoa.
there's only 2 reasons I would ever chase a man. Is A, if he stole the basketball from me, which doesn't happen very often, but if he did, I would take it down and take it back. Or if he's got shoes on that I'm like, hold on a second, I need to know where you bought those. Called.
Wow.
So I'm gonna start.
I guess we're through. Costco.
Drum roll, please.
Okay, in no particular order, these are the abstract J's. Okay, and this is a prime example. Actually, Griff, who's a great friend of your show.
Right.
Yes, we love Griff. We're thinking of you, Griff.
Yes, thinking of him, sending him love and prayers and hugs. I was actually with Griff when I saw a man wearing these. We were stranded trying to get to one of Nate's games in New Orleans. We were stranded in LAX because there was bad weather in New Orleans. And I saw a man wearing these, and I stopped him dead in his tracks. I'm like, can I please take a picture of your shoes? Because I'm going to
find them.
Yes,
I
love it. I haven't worn these yet. Now, let me also tell you guys, you get all first looks of these shoes because they've not made the gram yet. I've not worn them yet.
They haven't stepped.
Nope. These have not even seen the pavement. None of these have seen the pavement. So
exclusive.
Yes.
Nice. They're not even laced up.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's kind of my thing too. I don't lace them up all the way. Okay, so, and this is in no particular order. So these came from when the women,
I like those.
Right? Air Max 90s.
Those.
When the women won the World Cup last year for U.S. soccer, I'm like, okay, when they win, I'm going to buy these.
Nice.
These were hard to find, this is my second pair of shoes that I got for FIFA World Cup.
Nice.
The first
Shout out to the Olympics being a year away as well.
There you go.
Yes. Okay. I love Jordan 1s, but my favorite Jordans are the 11s. These are
those are clean.
Yeah.
The gum bottoms.
Yep, these are the citrus.
Oh,
Jordan 11 citrus. Yeah, these are.
You know you're a shoe person because I was just looking at that as some rubber sole. You called it citrus.
Yep.
Citrus.
You got the terminology down. I'm like, I know.
And I own a few off-whites. See, here's the thing too. I don't have a husband. I don't have any kids, so I invest in my shoe game. So
not a bad thing.
I got these fun games.
Treat yourself. Ooh.
Yeah. I got these fun ones. These are fantastic. I can't wait to wear these. These I got. Hopefully, the Sparks will win a title this year, and I'm going to rock these after they win a championship. Those are the canary yellow off-white.
Oh.
They still have the security tag on it. You walk out the store with those.
Folks.
What was that?
It's off-white, baby. That's what they do.
No, it's the tag.
I know. It's off-white, baby. This is part of the deal.
Oh, I got you.
This is part of the deal.
Chef
and
Rock.
You're getting educated right now, Chef.
I'm learning.
These bad boys.
Oh, those are cool.
Oh, I like those.
Shoes are art to me. They really are art to me. These are the pine green off-whites with a little pop of color. And yes, Chef, you keep this on because that's part of the deal. It's what makes them cool. What makes them cool.
Keeps them original.
Yes.
You got to realize Chef's an old man. So,
I know. I told you, I get my sneakers at Costco.
Shoes, you know what I'm saying? Comfortable shoes. You know what I'm saying? So she got some nursing shoes on right now to make you feel comfortable.
I know.
With the Velcro.
Exactly.
Pediatric ones. The Velcro top.
With the Velcro.
Pediatric shoes.
Thank you for letting me share a few of those shoes.
It's awesome.
I love that.
You guys got first looks.
Shoe game goals.
Yes,
we feel
exclusive.
Next time we go for the heels.
Thank you. I know, and I'm telling my future husband right now, if you're watching, I don't need a big ring. Just build me a closet with a ladder so I could climb up and roll back and forth and get my shoes. And I will be wearing Jordans under my gown, just for the record.
Oh, I love it.
And never bring up selling any of them.
No.
So right now we just have to say the man he doesn't have to have a nice car, but he has to have a very nice pair of kicks.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
Plenty to buy the kicks.
Requirements, people. Standards.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
I guess that's where I went wrong.
Hey, so Stacy, I wanted to ask if you could take a second and send an encouraging word or any advice. I guess, the state of California has decided to cancel fall sports for high schools, and they're moving football. They're trying to figure out moving football to the spring. And there's 2 different seasons at least in Southern California, in the high school rugby setup. One goes through the winter season, and then one also goes through the spring. And depending on who you play for, what level you play at and stuff, it kind of depends on which one's more important. But it's a big moment for us to kind of push rugby, especially in the Southern California area, and get football guys cross-training. We want to get them up, get them introduced to rugby. We want to get any athletes. I mean, there's other fall sports that definitely can learn our game and learn to love our game and know that they have an opportunity outside of maybe only NCAA Division I sports or whatever, and can find a path through rugby, whether it be academies, playing for under 20s USA, being on a pathway to the USA rugby team, or MLR. A lot of teams have academies as well. So if you have any encouraging words just for kids that are, and the parents that are going to be left kind of scratching their heads coming up this fall, wondering, what can I keep my kids involved in that would be, engaging for them?
Yeah, it's a great question, Nate. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. First, to the athletes, to the student athletes, or to the young guys and girls trying to figure out what they want to do in terms of sports, give rugby a try. And there's multiple reasons why you should. It's a sport that encompasses all the big sports, and the big sports that you would assume, the basketball, baseball, football. It encompasses all of that. When you think of speed, when you think of mobility, when you think of lateral movement, when you think of just skill, hand-eye coordination, just all of the things in one sport, which is rugby. And I also want you to stay encouraged, student athletes and young people, that even if you are in a sport right now that you can't play because of the unique situation that our world is in, don't be discouraged. It is challenging for all of us. In many ways, you're not alone. Use this time to increase your skill set, because you can only get better in times of adversity. Don't let it get you down. Make sure you recognize that you are tested to have a testimony, and this is part of that journey. So you get to do that. And what makes rugby so special, if you're an athlete, is you have the chance internationally to play, not only internationally, but to play with international people as you grow in the sport. And to me, that's incredible, because the culture of the game, both in and out of the US, is so extraordinary. You will have a brotherhood or a sisterhood that is so exceptional. These are legit your family. They legit have your back. And I know that can happen in a lot of sports, and does happen in a lot of sports, but it's very different in rugby. So please give it a look. And for the parents that might be nervous that there's no helmet, no pads, I don't know how I feel about this. For the parents, I want you to understand, these athletes are taught how to do everything properly, how to tackle properly, how to handle a tackle properly, how to roll out of a situation properly. And the other thing is too, take away the helmet, you don't have a blind side. You don't have to worry about that. I've spoken to a lot of football players' dads about this very thing. And they've said, well, but I love the ruggedness of football. Okay. Take that ruggedness times 2 and take the equipment away, and you have rugby. That is a man sport, a rugged to ruggedness sport, played by a host of gentlemen. Make that make sense. But it's the truth. They are the highest character of athlete that I've dealt with. And I have been very honored and blessed to work with some of the best athletes in the world.
Don't leave out the women that play it either. So
right. The women are
Courage,
unbelievable. The women are unbelievable. Yes, the courage and the strength that it takes. And these are beautiful, strong women who get their hands dirty and do it with such grace and beauty. It's amazing to watch. Amazing to watch.
Naya on fire, right?
Yeah.
Naya on fire.
As we always end our show, we always ask our guests, well, two things. We asked our guests to obviously, it's a tradition that they provide a gift to the host of the show. So we expect some new sneakers our way, next week. We'll send you our address through an email.
Stick and move, CJ. Stick and move, man.
Maybe you gotta.
I'm sorry. I have a bad connection. I have a bad connection.
Then we also asked the guests to actually say something inspirational and say something profound and deep. But you just did that.
Yeah, you just did it.
You just left us with something important because that was awesome. And I think a lot of kids right now are feeling really left out because they can't play sports. But you know what? It'll come back to you. It'll come to you, and you get it back, and then you'll feel really good. Because the anticipation. I saw a young man on TV yesterday. He talked about, well, it's going to give me an opportunity to work harder, so I'll be better. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I hope everybody takes that approach to it, and try to use it that way. So
we got to find the silver lining. We have to,
for sure.
Yeah,
we want to.
I agree.
I personally, I don't know about Nate or Chef Rock or our producer Tom, but I absolutely want to thank you very, very much for coming on the show. I want to thank you for all the things you said, positive and good, and joking around with us, allowing us to joke with you. And also, you're going to be sending those shoes over to us. I wear a size we want you to come back. We're super
I would love it. I would love it.
Anytime.
Thank you.
So I'll let them guys say something to you because
I'll be cooking for you, Stacy. You don't worry about that.
Yes. Thank you, CJ. Thank you. I appreciate all that. And I'd be more than honored to come back anytime.
Yeah. Well, definitely.
Yeah, Stacy, me and you will be in touch for sure. I got to rip more knowledge off you, and
I'll share.
You're an inspirational person. Thank you so much for taking time with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy.
I
owe you some salami.
Yes, salami. I prefer it not pulled out your pocket, though, as long as you don't pull it out your
I'll make sure it's in a bag, okay? Sorry, Nate, yours wasn't in a bag. It was just in my pocket.
I still ate it.
It tastes a little linty.
All right, we always say quick tap out, man. Quick tap out. It's a blessing. Thank you very much.
Shaka.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, everybody.
See you guys.
Tap out.